Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words from 17 years ago. The legacy of Star Wars Dark Forces and Star Wars Jedi Knight lives on in the intense first-person action of Jedi Outcast. As Kyle Katarn, agent of the New Republic, use your lightsaber and the full power of the Force to combat a new evil plaguing the galaxy. Wield over 8 Force abilities including Jedi Mind Trick, Force Lightning and Force Grip. Choose wisely from an arsenal of 13 weapons, including the Disruptor Rifle, Thermal Detonators, Trip Mines, and the Wookiee Bowcaster. Guys, it is my greatest pleasure to bring to you one of the best games I've ever played. This is from when games were really, really great. And the amazing thing is, this game still holds up today in 2019, almost 17 years later. Now I have had to add some resolution lines into the CFG. It took me 2 minutes. You can find the proper lines to put in to get it in 1080p 60 frames a second on the Steam forums if you just search for 1080p. Let's start with the options. Well, don't mess with the graphic options, just simply put the 4 codes in that I've mentioned and that'll sort you out graphically. Everything else can be changed. The audio is fantastic. It's the John Williams theme and it's music all the way throughout, and it's got the authentic Star Wars sound effects for everything, and also Billy D. Williams voices Lando and somebody else does Luke, but that doesn't really matter. You can customize all your keys, and you really need to do that. You need to have all your force powers to a key on your keyboard. I don't know about controller. To be honest, you wouldn't last 2 seconds with a controller on this game. This is a mouse and keyboard game because of the frantic pace of the combat. The story in this game is really, really good. It's a story about love, and I don't want to tell you too much, but Kyle he's a likeable bearded man, and he has a rough time. He's kind of give up the Force, and anyway, something happens in this game that makes him think, I need to get the Force back to deal with this. And that's all I'm going to tell you about the story. I finished this game in 2002 and I finished it again today. So I've done it twice now and I thoroughly enjoyed both times, and I'm going to do it again at some point. Probably in a year's time I'll do it again because it is so freaking good, this game. The level design in this game is just fantastic. You really do feel that you're in a Star Wars game. Now I just want to put in a disclaimer first of all. If you buy this game and you have never played it before, you're in for a very rough ride. The difficulty of this game is quite severe. Even on normal, it's hard. Normal is probably akin to today's very, very hard or nightmare mode. I kid you not. The puzzles in this game are serious. I mean, really serious. You won't find any little markers guiding you around the levels or anything glowing. You get none of that shit. This puts you in the frame of Kyle Katarn, and you have to work it out yourself by just looking and sometimes using the process of elimination. Some of the puzzles I do think are too hard. When I say puzzles, I mean areas where you just don't know how to get past. There'll be locked doors, for example, and you have to find keys. Also, while I'm talking about the disclaimer, there's one other thing that is probably the most important thing. The first 2 to 3 hours of playing this game, you don't have a lightsaber because the story hasn't got round to Kyle having a lightsaber, so you're shooting, and the shooting's a bit wonky in this. It's actually good when you get the feel of it, but if you just keep blasting, you'll miss, because the faster you fire, the less accurate your gun becomes. So you have to kind of learn the ways of the guns. But once you do that, you kind of get the idea. There's lots of different weapons that you can have in this. There's snipers, machine guns. I mean, they're not machine guns or sniper rifles, but they're the kind of laser version of that. There's trip mines, there's grenades, there's deck packs, there's Wookiee Bowcaster, all kinds of stuff. Rocket launchers, there's EMP guns later on. There's all sorts of stuff. But, guys, when you get your lightsaber and you start getting your force powers, the whole game changes. And considering it's took me about 25 hours to finish it over the last 2 days, I've just been hogging it. I even streamed it last night. It was a hilarious stream last night. Anyway, let's get on with it. Once you get your lightsaber, it all changes. It's just so much of a better game. Now, you don't get all the force powers straight away, and the ones you do get are at rank 1. But as you progress through the game, killing more and more people, you will get higher rank force powers, and you will also get more force powers until you get the full arsenal of 8 force powers. And guys, when you get them and you have got them leveled up to 2 and 3, oh my goodness, you are so fucking powerful. You do not know the power of the Force. There is so many ways that you can kill an enemy in this game. And this is what makes this game so damn good. There's none of this Batman spammy fucking bullshit where your guy will just turn to each enemy. This is entirely free-flowing. And it is fast. And you have got to have your wits about you. You need to know where everybody is. It may look, when you watch this, that I'm just flailing away and spamming, but I'm not. I'm actually using specific moves to kill people. You have these epic lightsaber duels because there are a lot of enemies with lightsabers. It's part of the story. It's this army, Desan, who is the end boss that you have to kill. He's building this army of anti-Jedi soldiers, if you like. Some of them are invisible. Some of them can wield the Force. Some of them are really fucking deadly. And it is really hard, this game, because you can be two-shotted pretty much off any of them. Even when you've got shields up. You have a shield and you have health. That's represented in the bottom left. The shield is the green, the red is the health. And my goodness, you don't last long. You don't, even with full shields, you do not last long if you get direct hits of a lightsaber or some heavy weapons. So how does the combat work? Well, it's very, very simple. When you are facing an enemy with your lightsaber, you are blocking. And you have 3 different lightsaber stances. You have light, which is fast, which is represented by blue in the bottom right corner. Yellow is medium, and red is heavy. Now, obviously, red, heavy, you hit a lot harder but a lot slower, so you're more vulnerable. When you're on blue, you can pretty much deflect all laser fire coming at you, providing you're facing it. Which might sound overpowered, but it isn't, because the AI of the enemy deliberately try to get to your flank and specifically behind you. Sometimes the enemy AI is absolutely amazing. Other times it's just fucking ridiculous. They'll just run at you and just stand there while you whack them. That doesn't happen very often. More often than not, they're running all over the place, very hard to hit, constantly moving right and left, so they do pose a large threat to you, especially in the early parts of the game. Now, to actually use your lightsaber when you've got an enemy in front of you, if you sidestep left and then attack, you will do a move from left to right. If you sidestep right, it's the opposite. If you pull back and press the button, you do an overhead. So if there's an enemy jumping over you, you can get him if you're quick enough to do that. Now, you can also do some special moves. You can go forward and you can press jump and attack, and you will do a somersault over the enemy and swipe down, which is one of my favorite moves, and that will put you in front of them and then behind you. If you then immediately pull back and press the fire button, you can do a backstab or a 360 swipe, which is again my big finisher, which I love doing. It's like a little combo that I do. I love doing that. And different stances have different special abilities. You need to learn them, and you need to learn them good, or you will get your ass kicked. There is points in this game where you will actually be fighting 3 and 4 like enemies with lightsabers. It's just insane. You also have boss fights. I think there's about 4 boss fights that you have in this. But it's not about boss fights. This game is about actually feeling like you were a Jedi. The immersion in this game is just immense. You really do feel, with the music, the level design, the graphics even now stand up to date. They're nothing like today's graphics, obviously, being 17 years old. But the actual gameplay of this game is just sublime. When I say that games were better back in my day, this is why. This game is still better than any other game I've played this year. Do you know that? We're into June, and this is the best game I've played this year, and I'd already completed it, so I knew what I was in for. I'd forgot quite a few things, but man, I have had a fantastic time. I heartily recommend this game. It's £7, guys. Don't cry for the first 3 hours when it's hard. Don't worry about the puzzles. Just play the game. You will love it when you start getting your force powers, your lightsaber. It is a joy. Now before I go, I want to mention this. This is something that you used to get in pretty much every game back then. You just don't get it anymore. And that is dev cheats. There's a console in this, and then you can type in the cheat code that unlocks the cheats, and then there's a shit ton of cheats. But the ones you're interested in, don't spoil the game by putting God mode on and all that shit. Just play the game the way it's meant to be played, and you will get a great immersive experience. But what you can do, and we did this in the stream last night, is find a really big room, or you can go into the multiplayer side of things and do it, and spawn, I don't know, 2 or 3 Luke Skywalkers and about 8 or 9 enemy Sith Lord kind of enemies. And you can have some amazing just lightsaber duels and lightsaber battles, and it is so much fun. So there you go guys, Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast, one of the all-time greats. And if you haven't played this game guys, now is a great time to do it because there's nothing really else out there to play. You can grab it on Green Man Gaming, I think it's £7.20. The link's in the description. Enjoy, and may the bells be with you.
Now I am the master.